Wait for it. And now we are live. Good afternoon, ladies and menfolk, and welcome to the first episode of the Word Ninja podcast. We're going to be trying to do this every Sunday afternoon at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I was hoping to be joined by a few other people today, but apparently everyone else is unfortunately busy or otherwise engaged. So for the moment, you have just me. I will do my best to keep you entertained in the meantime, unless someone else happens to join us somewhere along the way. We shall see. But I thought we'd start things off with just what is the Word Ninja podcast? Well, the Word Ninja podcast is run and managed by Full Coverage Writers, a resource repository for writers, which can be found conveniently at fcwriters.com. And we are running this Word Ninja podcast in the hopes of providing educational information, inspiration, and all forms of other tips, tricks, and testimonials to help writers write. Now, we're hoping to cover a few talking points per episode and talk about upcoming events we'll be running, and of course give out weekly writing prompts. Now, the writing prompts will be showing up later on, but basically it is going to be a couple one-liners and a few words to provide inspiration to create something new, and we'll even have some writing challenges per week to try and encourage people to participate in that. Now, for the moment, we'll just roll right into the first talking point of what does it mean to be a writer? Well, for me, being a writer has just been something that I've always wanted to do and always felt that I was pretty good at, or at least decent enough at. I mean, ever since elementary school, I've been creating stories and trying to figure out the answers to various what-if questions, and just trying to enjoy the power that is behind words and trying to figure out the whole Tetris combinations of combining them into various sentences and phrases and little witty one-liners. Sometimes they're better than others, but I like to think that I get a good one out every once in a while. But basically, being a writer is you actually enjoy the art of writing. And when I mean enjoy, that also includes the times when you don't want to write and you hate what you've written and you think it's crap and garbage and you never want to pick up the pen again, and yet you do. And you do it again and again, and you keep doing it because every once in a while there's those eureka moments where you actually think that something really connects and flows well, and your characters start getting a life of their own, and you actually enjoy it, and it's fun, and you want to do it again. I mean, that is the fun of being a writer. Hold on one moment. I'm posting the YouTube link of this current live stream up on Facebook for anyone who happens to be paying attention and wants to join us. Oh, bear with me for one moment. I just realized that that had not been posted. All right, we post it there. And we shall see if anyone happens to be able to join us later on. If not, this is just going to be a one-man show for the moment. Now, wait. Right. What does it mean to be a writer? So far, I've written about, I think I'm going on my 8th novel now, although I have yet to actually finish any of them to the point where they're worth sharing, but I have finished 8 novel-length plots. And most of those have been written through the month-long writing challenge called National Novel Writing Month. That happens to be run by the Office of Letters and Light, and is done every November. And the whole goal of that is 50,000 words in 30 days, or 1,667 words per day. Now, I know for some of you that might seem like a bit much, but believe me, it's possible, and it's a lot of fun. And if you've never tried National Novel Writing Month, I encourage you to this year, come November. It's definitely worth checking out. I believe the URL for that would be nanowrimo.org. But yeah, I've written about 8 novel-length pieces, a smattering of short stories here and there, and a ridiculous amount of poetry, but that was all done in high school and college, so you can only imagine the level of quality or lack thereof those might hold. I do hope to get back to those at some point, just to try and clean them up so they're not hilariously embarrassing, but yeah, that's for another time. And for me, being a writer is also the ability to adapt to my current ever-changing lifestyle. I mean, I work from approximately 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., which happens to be in a location 2 hours away from where I live. So I commute 3.5 to 4 hours a day via train, and then I work 8 hours a day, and then I take night classes. So there's not that much steady time to actually write, so I have to adapt and figure out, well, can I write on the train, which is easier said than done. You can't really work on a notebook because the train shuffles about here around a turn, and my scribbles are not readable by the end of the train ride. So I've tried laptops. That's hit or miss depending on if I remember to charge the battery and how I'm feeling at the time. Can I focus on writing on a laptop? I'm hoping to actually try out typing on a tablet in the future once I manage to acquire that later this week. But I've mostly done the laptop or the notebook, but I've had bad luck with notebooks. I mean, my notebooks have mostly been those composition notebooks you can buy for like 99 cents at a Staples or something. Those things, I have yet to have one last me to the last page. They've always fallen apart or disintegrated before I've finished with them, usually because I'm not exactly the nicest when it comes to notebooks. I mean, I toss those things about and beat them up and get coffee stains all over them. It's not pretty. But it's nice to have somewhere to put all that writing together in one convenient location so I can look back at it later, point and laugh, like, why would I write that? It must have seemed clever at the time, but after a week or a month or a year goes by, you look at it again like, what was I thinking? How is this a clever idea? Maybe if I rework it like this, then okay, it's workable, but as is, that's just silly. But yeah, I've learned that being able to adapt to my current lifestyle of I might have 15 minutes here or there to write. I mean, if that's all the time I can get, then that's what I got to use. So I find a way to write during 15 minutes here, 10 minutes there, and I try to have a goal set for me. Like, I want to finish this scene of a book to try and get progress, or let me work out what this character is going to do next, and how am I going to figure that out and stuff. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it's just a simple stream of consciousness. Like, I have no idea what I'm going to write about, and I'm writing this down as I have no idea what I'm going to write about. But hopefully an idea comes to me, and eventually something does, and it's always interesting to see what will come up at random as I'm doing these. Alright. Doesn't look like we're going to be getting anyone else joining us anytime soon for this episode, so I'm just gonna... Oh, hey, we do have someone else. Hey, Richie.
Hey. I was actually about to pass out. I didn't know if you got my message or not.
I did, and I wasn't sure if it was just a token, I'm going to keep a track on this guy, or if you'd actually be interested in joining me.
Well, I did. No, I mean, the other message that I sent, like, I was planning on staying up, but, like, my body's not letting me stay awake. So,
Ah, one of those. I didn't catch that one, sorry.
no, no, that's fine. That's fine. No, I would have liked to have actually been on time or whatever, but yeah, my body's kind of like shutting down on me. I think my
No
body's
worries.
retaliated. I think it's trying to get even with me for me making it watch Man of Steel. So,
What time did you catch that?
just a little bit ago.
Good
Like,
lord.
I think just about an hour ago. So
How
yeah.
are you still conscious?
That's a very good question. ADHD, probably. That's
Yeah,
probably.
that'll do it.
No, I mean, I've been up since 11 o'clock last night, so going on.
Jeez.
Yeah, I don't keep a normal schedule when it comes to sleep.
Normality is overrated.
It is, and I've got to switch to a slightly more normal sleep schedule because if I'm going to like have some semblance of sanity, consciousness, or awareness during Fairy Tale tomorrow, yeah, yeah, fun times on that. I gotta start putting. Oh, great, we got more fan fishing going on with Happy. I
Oh
forgot.
lord.
Yeah, I forgot about that. And it's like fan fiction has become our new favorite thing on both shows. It's weird. But no, go ahead. Talk about your show.
Yeah, this is our inaugural episode of the Word Ninja podcast.
Uh, is this
Yeah,
live on YouTube?
yes it is. And I think we have a viewer.
Woohoo!
So, hello, viewer!
Hello, viewer.
Although that might actually be me for all I know.
Oh, it might be. I don't know. I just got finished typing up a rant about the movie. So,
Oh dear.
oh no, it's not too bad. I can actually do like a constructive rant. But the only thing I was like horribly pissed about was the soundtrack. Because like I heard like when leaving, I heard so many people comparing Hans Zimmer to John Williams, and I'm like, no. The
Huh.
only comparison that can really be made is that both of them scored soundtracks for a Superman movie. That's where the similarities end.
Jeez.
Well, in the Man of Steel soundtrack, I hear a lot of elements of video game soundtracks in there. Like I heard um, major undertones of Mass Effect franchise in there, and I'm
Huh.
like, wait, this is you put this all together and you call it an original soundtrack. To me, it just sounds like remix. But,
Remixes are nice, but
but they're not
an
original.
original would be better, I would think.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, I heard a lot of stuff on there, and I was like, look, man, just go ahead and say that you worked with Jack Williams, man. Anyway, I'm ranting about stuff that doesn't need to be talked about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, I had a couple talking points I was hoping to run through on the episode, and if people hopped on, like you, you're welcome to join in the conversation.
And I just threw that whole thing out of the. Yeah, that's what we do with like Konoha Corner and Fairy Tale. We just come on and derail a show.
Yeah.
That's how it works. Man. What were the talking points? While I'm still conscious to actually.
I just started wrapping up the whole "what does it mean to be a writer" to you topic,
Oh,
and I was going to roll into how to procrastinate on procrastination.
I'm
In other
very,
words,
I'm
actually
very good
getting
at that.
shit done.
Let's see. Which episode is it that I'm currently working on for iTunes? Episode 89. Fuck you, we have Eric Vale. I'm just now, that many weeks later, just now getting to that episode.
Better late than never.
Well, let's see. We have to record 92 tomorrow. So the fact that I'm doing 89 just now, which is funny because I'm gonna do them all in like one bunch. The
Hmm.
reason that, I mean, okay, I'm looking at it right now. I'm looking at the file, and the opening theme for the podcast is maybe about 33. I'd say it's around 35 seconds long. All right.
Yeah, give or
That's the
take.
opening, okay? the actual full-on file with all of our this is the uncut, unedited live YouTube stuff that I have to cut down, 3 hours and 20 minutes and 45 seconds.
Good Lord.
And I have to cut that down to under 2 hours. So
Godspeed.
yeah, I know, right? Well, I mean, not completely, because I mean, most of the Eric Vale stuff is just gonna make it. I'm just gonna leave the Eric. I pretty much leave like any interviews and stuff that we have, pretty much unedited. Like the only time I'd like really cut out something is if like we had like a stupid question or somebody was just like, when we have like the word jumble where you can't tell what one person's saying because, pardon me, 4 other people are talking. Tends to happen a lot. So, sadly, yeah, it's a thing. But I mean, I'm partially to blame for that. I'm not going to throw it on everybody. I talk way too much on the show. But then again, I'm supposed to be like the lead host, so that's...
Yeah, you're kind of the one leading the ship.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the stuff that I've got to do. So when you're talking about procrastination, that reason alone, doing two podcasts and editing all that down and everything to what it sounds like, doing all of that, oh my God, that is the reason why I switched. I mean, honestly, the main reason why I pushed to Google Plus as opposed to recording Skype calls and putting them up as podcasts is because I got so sick and tired of editing because we were so behind. And at least with the live shows, I know we could be more on time. We're still not on time, but we're closer to on time. We're not days late. Usually. Yeah. I mean, we can be days early or days late depending on the situation. We started Konoha Corner on Friday an hour late. So, yeah, we're the most inconsistent podcast ever. So.
I don't know about that.
You're right. The iTunes is a Naruto podcast graveyard, so, and I've now contributed to that graveyard. Good God. Like, because if you look for Konoha Corner on iTunes, it's one of those graves, those unmarked graves. We didn't stop doing them; they're live, but like we switched over to YouTube instead of iTunes. But with Fairy Tail, we put up. I basically put up the ones that I consider my favorites. I'm just going to start putting those up. Anytime that we have an interview or like an episode that I think went really well, I'll go ahead and put that up on iTunes. Like, no problem.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm just going to... I gotta get everything together for... I know the sound quality is going to be shit after everything for 89 because like 90 and 91, I no longer have my mic. So, fun times. But it's the sound quality. Like, I don't usually care about sound quality during live shows, but as soon as I start editing again, that's where it's like.
Yeah, you really hear it.
I really hear it, and I'm like, that's where my procrastination kicks in. I'm like, I get like halfway through an episode, and people are like, "Oh, halfway through, yeah, you're doing really good." And I'm like, no, halfway through means I've been sitting here staring at this same fucking wave bar stuff for about 3 hours, and I don't want to do it anymore. And I tell myself I'm gonna take like a 10 to 15 minute break. No, I don't come back until the next day. Yeah, that's true procrastination when it's a day later when you said 30 minutes or 15 or whatever. You said minutes, and then it ended up being a full 24 hours.
Yeah, I feel kind of bad saying it, but that's one of the main reasons why I stopped doing your Fairy Tail and Konoha Corner mashups.
Oh, yeah.
Because
yeah.
Even if it's a 2-hour episode, it would take me 6 hours to go through the audio just to cut it up, never mind playing with it.
Yeah, exactly. I figured that was the case. I was like, wait, because I was joking with Nick, with Gray/Psy. I was like, yeah, he's probably gonna do like a couple of those and just be done with it. And he goes, why? I was like, do you have any idea how much fucking time it takes to edit that shit? Like, that's crazy. We do like these insanely long episodes. Like, if we condensed everything down to an hour, like I guess like the One Piece podcast does, then yeah, I mean they're very, I won't say strict, but they're very consistent.
Yeah, they're structured.
Yeah, they're very structured. We're generally not. Our whole thing is that like you could basically listen to us and it'd be like you were sitting down on like you just happen to hear us talking about like Naruto or Fairy Tale, and you sat down on the couch with us, or you just happen to be brought into this phone call or whatever. You know, that's kind of the vibe that I was initially going for, and generally the more structured I try to make it, the more it falls apart. So.
Well, the more the chat derails you.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, the chat definitely helps out
We're
with that.
good at that.
You guys are really good at making me go off topic. So if you'd like to see what it's really like to have ADHD or have an exercise in what true procrastination looks like, you can check out the podcast. I'm sure that there's going to be times when that happens. I can't announce any of the new guests that we're asking to get yet, so sadly, maybe able to do that on your next episode.
All right.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I'm trying to do these on Sundays at 3 p.m. Eastern Time,
Uh,
mainly because that's when I'm available.
right? Oh man. I was looking at all the stuff that I've got coming up, and I was just like, headache.
Yeah, that's how I feel when I look at the Connecticon that I'll be a vendor at and trying to get interviews with some writers. So much to do.
You're getting a peek into my world. I
It
do.
scares me.
No, I do 20 cons a year now, and this is a guy like this is coming from a guy who used to only go to 2 cons a year until he started podcasting. Like it wasn't until Konoha Corner had hit year 1, and then I started going to 5 a year. And then when Konoha Corner hit year 2 and Fairy Tale Podcast began, we did 10 a year. And now I'm up to 20 a year 2 years later after Fairy Tale. I'm like 20 a year. And there are people that the number one thing I always get told when I say, oh, yeah, I go to about 20 cons a year, they're like, oh, that must be awesome. I was like, my con experience and your con experience are two very different things.
Yeah.
I go to cons, I work. Like, that's my job. I'm getting technically paid to be there because they're comping me a badge, sometimes a hotel. You know, they're spending money. They're losing money on me being there. So I'm like, look, they need to get their money's worth. So I'm trying to work really hard. Like with Colossal Con, we tried really, really hard to make sure that we had some of the best content for them. Because next year we'd actually like to be up there and doing panels and as well as having a booth and doing all the stuff that we were doing this year and be able to bring more people up so that we could actually have people working at the table and everything and having more stuff available
Yeah, that would be pretty cool, I would think.
instead of just cards, you know, like we could actually have posters that we could sign for fans and stuff. But like um, on top of that, it's just you know, it's a long way to travel for just a ticket. Um, so I would want to have at least enough content that we're bringing together in panels to be able to go, hey, can we get comp to hotel room too? You know, just something like that because it's so difficult to get that 9 hour drive to a con that far away, and that's generally why I've declined a lot of the conventions that people have been wanting me to go to in you know the Midwest and out west and everything. Like people wanted me to go to they wanted me to go back to New York Comic Con last year, and they sent me an invite to come back as press for Anime Expo, and I was like, I can't go, and I had to send them an email back saying thank you so much for your offer, but unfortunately, um, unless you're planning on paying for the plane ticket, I can't go. And
Hmm.
I always state that just in case, and I know it may sound kind of rude or dickish or whatever, like if you're willing to pay for the plane ticket, but these are big like industry cons. These cons have the money. The first year cons not so much, but these
Yeah.
cons they bring in the peoples. Like I was looking at a list I think today, and like New York Comic Con brings in about what was it, 13,000? No, more than 13,000. Jesus, it was the third highest ranked, second or third highest ranked con in North America. Yeah,
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's right behind San Diego Comic Con, which is the number one.
Jeez.
And I mean, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous because Anime Expo and Otakon are down in the middle. Like they don't compare to like no, okay, it was New York Comic Con, then Emerald City Comic Con, the one in Seattle. I'm like, wait, Seattle? Really?
Oh,
Really? Anyway, weird times, weird times. But I mean, they send me stuff like that, and I always do say, hey, if you are willing to pay for my plane ticket, I'll go over there and do as much press shit as you want. And I always offer that because there might be that one time where they're like, yeah, we can do it. I'm like,
you never
okay.
know.
And in that case, I'm your bitch. I'll be your press bitch. If you're looking for a press bitch.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping that eventually Connecticon will pay me to go there rather than me paying them just
Well,
for a
I'm
table.
not. I'm not necessarily. I've never actually been paid to go to any con. I get
Or at
comp.
least comped.
Well, yeah, I get comped. I get comped a ticket, or usually I get comped a badge, and sometimes I'm a guest panelist. Sometimes I'm press, and it depends on the amount of panels that I'm providing as to whether or not I'll get comped a hotel. Usually, if you want to get comped a hotel, you need to do at least around five to anywhere between 5 to 8 panels at a con, and that's a lot of content. Plus,
Yeah.
plus covering all the press stuff too. So we're doing like interviews, and you gotta promote them too. And I'm like, man, we just need to have like blog. Oh. And then I thought about it, and I was like, wait a minute, that's what WordPress is. It's a blog. All right, let's start. Everybody, just start blogging. Just type up something in Word. Send it to me. Like I think that's how we're gonna do it. Is like everybody's give their own opinion on whatever con we were at. Everybody does that. We just share our opinions on our honest opinions of how we thought the con was.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing at Connecticon this year,
All right,
since this is the first year they've actually provided a lot of content for writers compared to the past like 6 years where it's been maybe one author or one panel.
right.
Now they have 5 panels per day.
Well, now I mean it's really funny because like over the last week we've been talking about like Anime Southeast is coming up in just a couple of weeks, and we've talked a bit about that. But now we're talking about um, God, we've got 3 different cons that we got to talk about it all at the same time behind the scenes. We're talking about trying to find out who all's going for Kintokyo Con, and then trying to get everything together for Anime Week in Atlanta. I've got to find out about Aoyama Con, and then I'm getting like I've got 3 different con chairs talking to me about who's going to be where and stuff like that. I've got to fill up press for AWA, and then I've got a Kai Con, and now I have to start setting everything up for GMX in November. So
Jeez.
that's how soon you have to get this stuff done. Like most of the time, especially if you're trying to do guest panelist stuff, you usually have to contact the con about anywhere between 6 to 7 months in advance. That's how early, because they will book through. Like if you don't get them early, they won't have any funding to compensate you. So I mean, and there's always the possibility that they'll be like, yeah, we ran out of funding because we got these people, and so yeah, we're not going to be able to. And I've had that happen with a couple of cons, and when they're like, yeah, we can't comp your hotel room, and I'm like, okay, well that's fine. Just remove all of our panels and just forget about our press. Like we can't go, like we can't afford to go without that stuff. And they understand. It's not us being mean and being like, well,
Right.
fine, you. It's just we can't afford it. Like going to all the cons that, like initially I was supposed to have 30 cons this year, and it ended up being 20 because I had to reject 10 different ones. And I'm not like super popular or anything. Like that's not how I'm
Sure,
known.
you're not.
No, I'm not. And I mean, I don't know how you guys view it, but I mean, I don't view it that way. I'm just like I record in my house. This is my room. I sleep there. Okay.
This is my room.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, you literally see me sleep there sometimes when I'm just way too damn tired to do the show. It doesn't happen often, but it does happen, and I apologize. But but I mean, no, it's just it's really weird about like, getting contacted by so many different con chairs about stuff, and they're like, "Well, we've got all these people that said that they wanted you to be there," and I'm like, "That's awesome. If only we had more to bug you so that you actually thought we would bring you in solid revenue."
Hmm.
Yeah, because if they think that a guest can actually bring them in a lot more money, they'll do whatever they can to get that guest. And unfortunately, like I had a convention in Utah wanting me to show up, and I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Um, can you pay for my flight? And they go, no. I'm like, yeah, this probably isn't gonna happen. I'm not able to just pay for my own flight.
Hmm.
I don't make that kind of money. I literally have no job right now, uh, because the work I was doing, which was voiceover, I can't do because my mic is missing. And come to find out, that whole thing about go to college, get yourself better opportunities so you can have a better career. Apparently, that's completely full of shit. Because as soon as I got out of college, no one was hiring anybody, and then I couldn't even. And because I went to college, I can no longer work at gas stations or McDonald's or anything like that because having a college degree, I'm overqualified. And then
Hmm.
and then I've had people that sit here and tell me this, don't put down that you've been to college in your application. I did that once. Everything revolves around technology there. They do a background check and see that you graduated college. No. So I got in even more trouble for not putting it on my application. And the guy goes, "Oh, why didn't you put this on your application?" I was like, "Because I wanted to get hired." And he goes, "Yeah, but unfortunately we can't hire you. But we understand why you did it." Yeah. I'm like, "Motherfucker, why did I even go to college?"
I have no idea what I'm going to do when I get my second degree come next year.
I have an ass load of debt that I can't do anything about because I can't get a job.
Hopefully, anime picks up over the next few years and it'll
Well,
start being profitable for you.
I would really like for that to happen, but I mean, I'm having communication issues with some people. I'm not gonna name names, but like there's like some email jumble going on or something. I don't know if it's a technical error because I know I typed the shit correctly, but like I keep getting messages sent back about different people that I'm trying to get a hold of, and I'm like, the business cards need to be updated. What's going on? But yeah, I really hope that anime does kind of take off. I can't film anything right now again because I don't have my mic, and I refuse to film anything in which there's going to be shitty audio quality. So yeah, but yeah, I'd like to actually work it and make something happen from that. Yeah, that's how that's gonna go.
Well, if you're still up for it, let's. I can roll into the next talking point after our 20-minute derailment.
Oh well, yeah, that's procrastination, ladies and gentlemen. Just derail.
Yeah. The next talking point was going to be your favorite writing place, or in your case, workplace, or where do you actually get shit done?
My room, but ironically enough, the times that I like get inspiration for writing, the funniest part, it's usually around now, like right before I go to sleep. I'll be laying down and I'll think of something, like I'll be reflecting on something or thinking about something, and then like ideas start popping in my head, and then I'm up for 2 more hours that I shouldn't be up because I'm sitting there typing them all down, and it's just kind of like my creativity sparks right before I go to bed, and then like I spend the next three uh, exhaustive hours on my laptop typing stuff up. That's actually how Manga Bridge got born. That's that's how all those scripts half of the time got typed. I'd say at least four out of those six scripts that I've typed up so far um, are from that. Just right before I go to bed, I have an idea, and I'm like, oh my god, wait, and this can lead into that, and then I start, and I'm like, I know myself. When I wake up, I will have forgotten all of this, so I have to type it down.
Yeah, that's the way it works, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, I'm not. I don't have the greatest memory. Anybody who watches the show knows that. Um, but yeah, it's bad memories. How about you, man? What do you?
I've tried writing all over the place. I mean, I have a 3.5 hour commute by train for my day
Oh,
job.
that's usually a good way to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. I've tried doing it with the notepad and pen, but the train moves about, so I just have hieroglyphics by the time I get to work. I can't
Yep.
read
Hey,
them.
hey, hey! I feel you on that too. I've got a, or I used to. I started writing a Sailor Moon fan fiction when I was 16. Then I started writing the second draft when I was 18, and I was writing the third draft around 20. And so I'm in the field in Iraq, sitting here writing this third draft of my fan fiction by hand, and it was like 399 pages, and I'm sitting here redoing it. Like I've got my second draft on one side, and I'm sitting there flipping it over and reading it and going through and going like, no, these are the things I need to revise for this chapter. It doesn't make sense, and why is this character? God, I was young when I wrote this, and it was only 2 years, but I'm like, good God, how immature this was. And then but I go back and I read my first draft, and I'm like, holy shit, I'm so glad that I was more mature in my second and third drafts. And I started typing the fourth draft, but as that happened, I was living with some people who didn't understand was not trash and what was trash, and they threw it away. My third draft, all
Ooh.
399 pages, and anybody that's been a writer will know that is at that point in time. I had a couple of people who were writers and fan fiction writers that were like, "Wow, 399 handwritten pages." And I was like, "Yeah, it was 30 chapters, a prologue, and an epilogue." And they were like, "Oh man, and all of that's gone. How much did you have typed up?" 7 chapters in the prologue. And they were like,
Ouch.
"Did you strangle somebody?" I was like, "Yes, in fact, I did." And they're like, "They deserved it. They deserved it." Anybody that's written that much and has had, and again, this was the third draft. So my
Yeah.
initial draft, I think, was 300 pages, and then my second draft ended up being somewhere around 366, and then by the third draft it was 399. But like, I'd cut a lot out of my first two drafts, and like, tried to make it a more mature feel and less. This is what this person was doing, and this is what that person was doing. Instead of trying to fucking block it, I just wrote it.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of that, and I can see a lot of stuff that people say about like in fan fiction. Like I did, my character was what's the male equivalent of a Mary Sue?
Um, I should know this.
Well, my character was that when I started writing it when I was 16. But honestly, when I was 16, uh, let's see, Sailor Moon was on the WB. Dragon Ball Z hadn't even come out in the US. I think Pokemon was just making its debut on television.
Jeez.
Yeah, so there wasn't a lot of access to anime and stuff. So and I'd only seen up to like a certain point in the series. I'd never seen S, Super S, and Stars.
Okay.
So that's the main reason why I ran around and did the second draft was because I had gotten all of that and I'd absorbed it and I read the manga and I read all the manga. I started doing what a writer's supposed to do. I researched and then I rewrote and then the live action came out. Pretty Guardian came out.
I never saw that one.
It's an AU. It's if Sailor Moon met Sentai in an alternate universe type thing, that's how Pretty Guardian goes. But there were some elements from Pretty Guardian that I liked
Hmm.
that I wanted to incorporate in the story, so they came kind of a little back around in the third draft, and then a bit more so in the final draft. I tried to make it more set like it could be happening in reality to a point, but no, my OC characters are not the main uh, characters in the story so much anymore. The story does kind of focus on a new character more than it does uh, all the original character or all the rest of my original characters and all the characters who were initially in Sailor Moon. But I try to balance it out because there's so many characters in this story.
Yeah.
and and I learned a long time ago. One of the things that I definitely learned was don't put your final villain out there too quickly. And if you give glimpses of him at the beginning, don't go into detail about who he is or anything. Dear, like don't give him a lot of screen time because you want people to almost forget about him by the time he shows up at the end, and they're like, "Wait, that guy?" And then you reveal this big thing. They're like, "He's what?" I'm just a horrible person. That's what it is. I don't want anybody to know anything. I just want to surprise the hell out of everybody.
Oh, I'm no better.
Oh,
I
here we go.
I have a I have I think it's a two-book series at the moment that have gone through about 8 drafts each. I keep poking at it every year or so. It's a zombie apocalypse scenario called Slash and Burn versus the
Oh,
World.
oh yeah. And then I've got people that like when I write stuff for the abridged stuff. I try to get abridgers that I know and trust to review it for me. So I've had certain abridgers look at it. Little Primo and Purple Eyes looked it over for me and give me feedback and criticism on it. I'm like, because my biggest thing is this funny, and is it too much this way? Is it too much that way? And I need different opinions. So, uh, the only thing I can ever say that I've done that I've considered myself to be marginally successful at when it comes to writing is doing parody Christmas carols.
Yeah, those were pretty sweet.
Well, for like Fairy Tail and Naruto and stuff, like I rewrote like the ones that we put out before Ramen Bowls and Itachi the Red-Eyed Ninja. I can't take credit for that. I did not write any of that. We contacted the person that wrote that and got permission from them to actually just sing it and get it done. Now all the improv stuff going on in Itachi the Red-Eyed Ninja, because I could not find a a karaoke track that did not have people at least singing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer at some point in time. So that's all Tina and I just off the cuff with the song, whatever. We just like, okay, we're just gonna record it over Skype. Like, no, oh wait, what was no? Instead of it being Skype, okay, we were both listening to the song. We had it synced up, right? And I recorded myself on Audacity, and she recorded herself on Audacity, and we were playing the song at the same time, and that's how that magic happened. It really, and people still come up to me that have just found that song, and they're just like they'll somehow they'll get in contact with me, and they'll be like, "Oh my God, best moment ever! What the fuck are deer doing here?" I'm like, "Oh yeah." I can't because I'll forget about this stuff, and then people bring it up to me, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, we did do that, didn't we? Holy crap!" Like, I was going back through. I was looking back through the Gothic Zero Gara channel, which I haven't even signed in or touched in forever. And then I stumbled across my the HTC Resound parody that I did with Fight the Power, and I'm sitting there. I did that with. Okay, I need to clarify this real quickly because I've seen people get this wrong so many times. Okay, there are 3 versions. It's called Rap is a Man's Soul, Rap was a Man's Soul, and Liber a Me. Those are the 3 versions of the same song. No, there's 4. Sorry. Rap was a man's soul, right? There's 4 versions. And it's the Row Row Fight the Power song. The one with the opera is Libera Me. Is Libera Me, okay? All the rest of them are Rap is a Man's Soul kind of stuff. All right, so what I was using was Rap was a Man's Soul, which is the second version that do 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 do. You get the trumpets in the background while they're all sitting there, whoa, whoa, fight the power, and all that.
Yeah.
But that was the song I used for this commercial, and it kind of sort of fit. But I was like, oh my god, the audio is so imbalanced and everything, and like the video quality is so grainy. I want to go back and fix it, and that's what I did for like the last 3 days.
Oh
Um,
my.
yeah, yeah. Well, it didn't take me that long. It's just I gave in to Naruto's demands, and I actually watched Kaicho Amid-sama over the last day. and I finished it. I finished watching it now. So
Is that on Crunchyroll?
no, sadly,
Oh,
there's no legit means to watch it. So I'm admitting on your show that I watched something illegitimately.
you horrible, horrible person, you.
It's not on Crunchyroll. It's not on Netflix. I'm like, no frappy. Like the only way I can watch this is by doing that. I'm like, put it up on Crunchyroll. Put it up on Netflix. I'll gladly watch it legally. I
Hmm.
pay for Crunchyroll and Netflix. Come on. But yeah, I'm a horrible person. It's okay. I can admit it. But God, yeah, parody music is the one thing that I think I can actually sit down and write. That's just kind of easy. And again, I'm talking way too much. It's your show. Why not?
Yeah. I'm not even sure where we were.
Oh,
Uh, looking at
best
the
places
talking
to write.
points.
Best places to write, or whatever.
Yeah.
Because you said subway, and that got me thinking, or the on the train, and that got me thinking. Oh yeah, I remember when I was writing in Iraq, yeah, back in back in the third draft period. Yeah.
I guess at this point we can just roll into the "What have you been reading" segment, which I presume for you would be a lot of manga.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of manga. I've been getting more into audiobooks than just being able to actually sit down and read because I don't have a lot of time anymore to to just kind of lose myself in a book, and I tend to do that. Last time I read a book, um, trying to remember what the actual book was. I'm pretty sure it was a Star Wars novel, and it was a hardback. But like I said, when I lose myself in a book, I legit will. You won't. I won't respond to anything for a long period of time. Like I won't even realize that my stomach is trying to talk to me until about 12 hours later. I just kind of get lost in the world of the book, which is funny because my body runs on autopilot while my mind is absorbing all of this. So I'll go out and smoke while reading, but I'll still be like, so some of my habits will stay with me, but for the most part, dude, I'm just lost in a book. It's
Out
fun.
of curiosity, what sort of books have really drawn you in or that you loved?
I liked the Hunger Games. Those books were really good, and they're actually quite the opposite of their movie counterparts. In the movie counterparts, the two main characters are their personalities are kind of flip flopped. In the movies, uh, Katniss is portrayed as being kind of the badass character type, and Peeta's kind of the bitch. Well, it's
Hmm.
the other way around in the books. Katniss is totally the bitch, and Peeta is the badass.
I
Uh,
have yet to actually read that
they're really good.
series.
You should, the Hunger Games, Catching Fire, and Mockingjay. Very, very good. Uh, they were audiobook. I'm going back and forth and debating whether or not I should check out the audiobooks for Song of Ice and Fire, the actual Game of Thrones books. I
Hmm.
have them. I have them, but I'm like, do I really want to spoil myself? So it's been like that's been the big question with me right now, and I'm probably gonna when I get my mic again, I'm gonna probably do another uh, Game of Thrones discussion on anime, or I may just do a live thing. I don't know. But what's the other thing? Trying to think of something I've read recently that World War Z, and that was like the best thing ever because everybody was talking about the movie and like oh yeah the World War Z, and then everybody that had actually read the book was like oh no hell no I'm not going to go see this movie. It's nothing like the book.
Hmm.
And I was like, okay, well, if everybody's raving about the book being amazing, I need to know what's going on with the book, right? And so I'm like, okay, I'll check out the audiobook, right? Whatever. Oh, that's not an audiobook. That's an audio play. Oh my God. Like, okay, first off, they have so many characters in there, and they have so many good actors portraying these characters. Like, Mark Hamill's in it, John Turturro's in it, Alan Alda, fucking,
Huh.
oh God, there's so many good people in there, people that I didn't recognize until after hearing that. I think Sam Rockwell's in there too, and I'm like, oh. Like World War Z, with the audiobook was very much kind of a War of the Worlds type of situation.
I might have to check out the audiobook because I made it about halfway through the actual book and got distracted by something.
It's simply to put it very simply, the movie is nothing like the book. Check out the book. The book is going to be amazing. I will not be seeing World War Z in theaters. I don't give a damn about Brad Pitt. They're not sticking with any of the source material. They're just keeping the name. That's it.
Well, that's just
World War Z.
stupid.
Exactly, exactly. Like the source material is like you can tell from the trailers how different everything is from
Yeah,
how the character in the book. It's completely different. First off, zombies don't run in World War Z. That's thing number one.
yeah.
The zombies don't run. They don't sprint. They're walkers. They call them zap at one point, I believe.
Well, it's because they're going by the outbreak standpoint. Look, that. That's it's pretty
Well, I mean, like I said, yeah, but still, even the a lot of the points that they cover have nothing to do with the book.
well, that's because the movie is entirely based on an outbreak. The book is based on the aftermath and how people get out. That's the reason why it's important.
Basically, it's a post-apocalypse. It's a post-apocalypse story. All right, I will be back in a minute. I gotta talk to him real quick.
Fair enough. All right. While we're waiting for him to make his reappearance, I guess I'll toss in what I've been reading lately. I just finished up the Book of Deacon by Joseph Lalo, I believe it would be pronounced. It's the first book of, I believe, a three-book series. I've just started the sequel called The Convergence, and I found the first book to be really good, although I didn't quite see where it was going. There were a lot of open questions of, well, is this character secretly a villain, or is there another player on the field that we're going to see later? And there are a few paths that the characters could have taken that I thought they were going to go down, but then they didn't. And for a while, that kind of annoyed me. Like, I would have done it this way. But after starting to read The Convergence, it's making a lot more sense as to why Lalo took the directions he did. And I'm only about a quarter of the way through the second book, so I still have a little ways to go to see where it all pans out. And of course, there's the third book too. But it's definitely worth checking out. For that one, the details can be found at bookofdeacon.com. Deacon was spelled Deacon. Uh, yeah, it was definitely an interesting read and worth checking out if you haven't already. And I'm hoping to finish up the Convergence by the end of this week if my schedule allows. We'll see how that goes, and perhaps I'll be able to talk about that one on next week's episode. And at this point, it doesn't look like we're going to be getting any other people jumping on the line, but we still have a few more talking points to go through. We've already kind of touched on it, but Full Coverage Writers is going to be attending Connecticon. That's going to be in July 12th to the 14th, I believe it is. It's the full weekend after July 4th. We're going to be actually in the artist's colony there, selling our book, some various buttons and magnet designs, and some of our worksheets as well. We're hoping to get a couple interviews with some of the authors that are going to be attending there as well. Authors like C.J. Henderson. I have the list somewhere here of just who else is attending. Give me a second. Because there are some really good names of attendees. Hold on, let me bring that up. I'm just bringing up the site now to try and find the list. Let's see, for Connecticon we got Leono Wisoker, Hemel Brennan, Joseph Brukak, Shanna Mlowski, that's a tricky one to pronounce, Bryce Moore. Elaine Cunningham is actually doing a couple manuscript workshops. If you submit a 15-page manuscript to her in time, she'll actually go over it with you and provide feedback and other stuff. She had a breakdown somewhere of just what she was offering. I'll find that somewhere and toss it in the show notes for afterwards. We also got Michael Sullivan, Renee Witterstater, Brandon Sanderson, Margaret Killjoy. We got a lot of great people attending this year, and I hope to get a few of them just for some quick interviews, which I'll be posting up on our website after the event and maybe even working it into the episode of that weekend, depending on our internet connection. Chances are we will not be running the podcast that weekend. We shall see. But yeah, if you are attending Connecticon, please stop by. We'll be in the Artists Colony. It's table 20. We'll be between... Oh, what were those vendors? It was two very weird sounding vendors from what I remember. Not that we're normal. Artist Colony. Yeah, we're table 20. Next to us are Paper Hearts Studios and Fluffy Kitten Studios. Yeah, so if you happen to see them, just look for the table between them, and that's us. So if you care to stop by and say hello during that event, by all means. We're also going to be running a world-building workshop on July 27th. That one's going to be hosted at the La Quinta Hotel over in Danbury, Connecticut. Details for that will also be available on our website. It's a 4-hour workshop and play shop, as we started calling them, as it's interactive. It's going to be hosted by... I'm blanking on his name now. One of our members is running the actual event. It's going to be 4 hours of how to actually create a universe and build your world for your book, and how to maintain it, manage it, and keep track of all the little fiddly bits of when you need to go back and figure out, gee, where was that location? Or in the universe, where would my characters go from here? Stuff like that. And it's that event is going to be a $5 cover charge for those who RSVP. You'll be able to do that via our Facebook page. Links will be in the show notes. You can also show up just at the door. We don't mind, but that's going to be a $10 cover charge because seating is somewhat limited, and we want to make sure that we can provide for the amount of people that will be attending. That's it for events at the moment, so let's just roll on into the writing prompts. Now, I talked about this earlier. We're going to be tossing out a page of writing prompts per week. Now, these worksheets have... Oops. I'm just bringing that up. Give me a second. Where is that? Hold on, just bringing that up now. Trying to. Google Drive is being silly. Okay. There we go. All right, so each week we have writing prompts we provide 10 one-liners to kind of kick things off and 10 words to try and mix in as you can. And each worksheet has a challenge for the week. It's going to be 1,000 words of a flash fiction. You try using one of the sentences, some of the words, and if you write 1,000 words of a flash fiction using some of those and submit it to us via our email of writelife@fcwriters.com. That's WIRTWRITELIFE at fcwriters.com. The winning submission will be read out live in the next week's episode. So yeah, if you want to check that out, close that. Just got to bring up the show notes again so I can get the link for that. The link for this week's writing prompts is bit.ly. That's bit.ly/12jcakr. Yeah, I'm going to work on those short URLs to try and make it a little more memorable, but bit.ly/12jcakr. And if you pull that up, you'll get this week's PDF worksheet. And we're also going to be posting the link in our show notes to make it easy for everyone. And just to give you an idea of like what some of the writing prompts are, pulling that back up, like some of the sentences to kickstart ideas is, are we still on for this Saturday? Or first things first, I need waffles. I mean, one-liners like that. It's kind of silly, but it will hopefully spark an idea. I mean, the words are equally random. For this week, you got stuff like funding, or hidden, or even willpower. So, I mean, if you can combine some of the sentences and words together into a 1,000-word exactly story, I mean, okay, we'll fiddle it. So if you're at that 1,001 words or 998, I mean, that's okay. We don't really care that much, but try and get it as close to 1,000 words as possible. That way it pushes you to create something short and sweet, and how to actually write something that's that short and structured while still holding on to a core idea or scene. Back to the show notes. So unfortunately, you can only have one document up at a time with Google Drive for this, but that actually wraps up most of the talking points I was going to go over.
Back just in time for that, apparently. Yeah, we were conversing about Man of Steel. So.
Ah, nice.
Yeah. He's still wanting to.
Leave the poor man alone. He's on a podcast.
Yeah, I am actually. I'm on someone else's podcast, man. So I'm trying not to ruin their show.
Anyway, I actually just rolled through our upcoming events of where we'll be and what we're doing, and tossed out the writing prompts for the week and I'll be putting all the links and whatnot in the show notes. That'll be available for everyone. And that was actually going to wrap it up, unless there were any.
I know. I think I've talked enough already.
Yeah. I think this is actually going to kind of wrap things up, but I'd like to give you the opportunity to kind of pimp your
plug
20 billion things that you do.
God. Manga Abridged coming soon. You can check out the Fairy Tale podcast Monday nights at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Fairy Tale Podcast, yeah. You can find us, our website, fairytalepodcast.wordpress.com, facebook.com/fairytalepodcast, @fairytalecast on Twitter. Tumblr coming soon. Konoha Corner podcast, our all Naruto podcast. You can watch the live shows on our YouTube channel. Just type up Konoha Corner, and you should find us. It's not Gothic Zero Gara. If you really want to find us, just check out our Facebook page, facebook.com/Konoha Corner podcast. You can go to our website, konohacorner.wordpress.com. Konoha Seed Podcast on Twitter. So much stuff. You can also find the Fairy Tale Podcast on iTunes just by typing in Fairy Tale Podcast. It's really simple. What else? Oh, anything new in media entertainment. Oh my god, anime. Check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/anything new in media. I think it's Anime News Channel. Yeah, Anime News Channel, Anime Channel News. It's also one of those two on YouTube. I can't remember which one off the top of my head. I don't have I need to have like a bio of this stuff, like when I'm actually supposed to plug this on other people's shows. What else do I have? I think that's about it. I don't know if anything's going on with Ganbare for Japan. I'm doing so much stuff I can't be involved in that anymore as much as I would love to. Anime fans get back to Japan. That's not a thing that I'm running, but it may be a thing that I'll be involved in again. I don't know. There's so much stuff. I do a lot of commercial voiceover work, and I can't really plug a lot of that, mostly because some of it hasn't come out, and most of the stuff that I do anyway, I'm the voice at the end that nobody pays attention to. So I've done some commercials. Yeah. That's pretty much it. My name's Richie Roberts. I do voiceover and podcasting. Yeah, that's who I am. Also, Gothic Gara and Natsu Dragon. Because I now respond to those like instinctively now. When people say Natsu and Gara, my head turns. Like that's my name now apparently. So I've been going by Natsu for 2 years now. I've been going by Gara for oh my god. Because it started out as a cosplay thing. So I've been going by Gothic Gara for about 7-8 years now. It's been a while. Since 2006.
Oh my.
It's been a while. Yeah, it's been a while. I've been going by Gara since 2006. So, yeah.
I still go by Silver Wolf pretty much anywhere online, but I never meet people in person, so it doesn't usually come up.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, I have that problem, unfortunately. Like, there'll be other Gara cosplayers and stuff, and somebody will shout, "Hey, Gara!" and I'll turn and look, and I'll be like, "What?" Yeah, that's... my life. Fun times. Thank you so much for having me on the show and allowing me to plug a massive amount of stuff that apparently I do.
Yeah, thanks for joining in. I'm glad you could make it.
Oh, yeah. I was hoping more people would have been on.
Yeah, it was kind of a last-minute push to just kind of get this rolling, and apparently a lot of people are busy this Sunday.
Well, hey, you got other Sundays coming up?
Yeah, I hope to get a couple more episodes out before the convention. We'll see how things go.
Alrighty. Well, I'm gonna head out of here.
Yeah, get some sleep.
Yeah. If everyone will let me. Yeah. Alrighty, thank you for having me on. I enjoyed this. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, thanks. See you around. And with that, I might as well wrap it up, too, and say that I'm Charles Muir, the instigator of Literary Insanity for Full Coverage Writers and the Word Ninja podcast. Check us out next Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hopefully I can wrangle a few more people to join us. We'll see how things roll. And check us out on Facebook. It should be... Hold on. I have that actually right up. It's facebook.com/fullcoveragewriters. That's going to be our primary page where we're posting the show notes and links to everything, and so you can keep apprised of all the stuff we're doing. And with that, we're going to sign out. Good luck with your writing for the week. See you next time. Seem like a bit much, but believe me, it's possible, and it's a lot of fun. And if you've never tried National Novel Writing Month, I encourage you to this year, come November. It's definitely worth checking out. I believe the URL for that would be nanorimo.org. But yeah, I've written about 8 novel-length pieces, a smattering of short stories here and there, and a ridiculous amount of poetry, but that was all done in high school and college, so you can only imagine the level of quality or lack thereof those might hold. I do hope to get back to those at some point, just to try and clean them up so they're not hilariously embarrassing, but yeah, that's for another time. And for me, being a writer is also the ability to adapt to my current ever-changing lifestyle. I mean, I work from approximately 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., which happens to be in a location 2 hours away from where I live. So I commute 3.5 to 4 hours a day via train, and then I work 8 hours a day, and then I take night classes. So there's not that much steady time to actually write. So I have to adapt and figure out, well, can I write on the train, which is easier said than done. You can't really work on a notebook because the train shuffles about here around a turn, and my scribbles are not readable by the end of the train ride. So I've tried laptops. That's hit or miss, depending on if I remember to charge the battery and how I'm feeling at the time. Can I focus on writing on a laptop? I'm hoping to actually try out typing on a tablet in the future once I manage to acquire that later this week. But I've mostly done the laptop or the notebook, but I've had bad luck with notebooks. I mean, my notebooks have mostly been those composition notebooks you can buy for like 99 cents at a Staples or something. Those things, I have yet to have one last me to the last page. They've always fallen apart or disintegrated before I've finished with them, usually because I'm not exactly the nicest when it comes to notebooks. I mean, wait for it, and now we are live. Good afternoon, ladies and menfolk, and welcome to the first episode of the Word Ninja podcast. We're going to be trying to do this every Sunday afternoon at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I was hoping to be joined by a few other people today, but apparently everyone else is unfortunately busy or otherwise engaged. So for the moment, you have just me. I will do my best to keep you entertained in the meantime, unless someone else happens to join us somewhere along the way. We shall see. But I thought we'd start things off with just what is the Word Ninja podcast? Well, the Word Ninja podcast is run and managed by Full Coverage Writers, a resource repository for writers, which can be found conveniently at fcwriters.com. And we are running this Word Ninja podcast in the hopes of providing educational information, inspiration, and all forms of other tips, tricks, and testimonials to help writers write. Now, we're hoping to cover a few talking points per episode and talk about upcoming events we'll be running, and of course give out weekly writing prompts. Now, the writing prompts will be showing up later on, but basically it is going to be a couple one-liners and a few words to provide inspiration to create something new, and we'll even have some writing challenges per week to try and encourage people to participate in that. Now, for the moment, we'll just roll right into the first talking point of what does it mean to be a writer? Well, for me, being a writer has just been something that I've always wanted to do and always felt that I was pretty good at, or at least decent enough at. I mean, ever since elementary school, I've been creating stories and trying to figure out the answers to various what-if questions, and just trying to enjoy the power that is behind words and trying to figure out the whole Tetris combinations of combining them into various sentences and phrases and little witty one-liners. Sometimes they're better than others, but I like to think that I get a good one out every once in a while. But basically, being a writer is you actually enjoy the art of writing. And when I mean enjoy, that also includes the times when you don't want to write and you hate what you've written and you think it's crap and garbage and you never want to pick up the pen again, and yet you do. And you do it again and again, and you keep doing it because every once in a while there's those eureka moments where you actually think that something really connects and flows well, and your characters start getting a life of their own, and you actually enjoy it, and it's fun, and you want to do it again. I mean, that is the fun of being a writer. Hold on one moment. I'm posting the YouTube link of this current live stream up on Facebook for anyone who happens to be paying attention and wants to join us. Oh, bear with me for one moment. I just realized that that had not been posted. All right, we post it there. And we shall see if anyone happens to be able to join us later on. If not, this is just going to be a one-man show for the moment. Now, wait. Right. What does it mean to be a writer? So far, I've written about, I think I'm going on my 8th novel now, although I have yet to actually finish any of them to the point where they're worth sharing, but I have finished 8 novel-length plots. And most of those have been written through the month-long writing challenge called National Novel Writing Month. That happens to be run by the Office of Letters and Light and is done every November. And the whole goal of that is 50,000 words in 30 days, or 1,667 words per day. Now I know for some of you that might seem...
I think just about an hour ago. So,
how are you still conscious?
That's a very good question. ADHD?
Yeah, that'll do it.
No, I mean, I've been up since 11 o'clock last night, so I'm going on. Yeah, I don't keep a normal schedule when it comes to sleep.
Normality is overrated.
It is. And I've got to switch to a slightly more normal sleep schedule because if I'm going to have some semblance of sanity, consciousness, or awareness during Fairy Tale tomorrow, yeah. Fun times on that. I gotta start putting... Oh, great, we got more fan fiction going on with Happy.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, I forgot about that. It was like fan fiction has become our new favorite thing on both shows. It's weird. But no, go ahead. Talk about your show.
Yeah, this is our inaugural episode of the Word Ninja podcast.
Is this live on YouTube?
Yes, it is. And I think we have a viewer.
Woohoo!
So, hello, viewer!
Hello, viewer!
Although that might actually be me for all I know.
Oh, it might be. I don't know. I just got finished typing up a rant about the movie, so.
Oh dear.
Oh no, it's not too bad. I can actually do like a constructive rant, but the only thing I was like horribly pissed about was the soundtrack. Because I heard when leaving, I heard so many people comparing Hans Zimmer to John Williams, and I'm like, no. The only comparison that can really be made is that both of them scored soundtracks for a Superman movie. That's where the similarities end.
Jeez.
Well, in the Man of Steel soundtrack, I hear a lot of elements of video game soundtracks in there. Like I heard major undertones of Mass Effect franchise in there, and I'm like, wait, this is you put this all together and you call it an original soundtrack. To me, it just sounds like remix.
Remixes are nice, but
But they're not
an
original.
original would be better, I would think.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, I heard a lot of stuff on there, and I was like, look, man, just go ahead and say that you worked with Jack Williams.
And I toss those things about and beat them up and get coffee stains all over them. It's not pretty. But it's nice to have somewhere to put all that writing together in one convenient location so I can look back at it later, point and laugh like, why would I write that? It must have seemed clever at the time, but after a week or a month or a year goes by, you look at it again like, what was I thinking? How is this a clever idea? Maybe if I rework it like this, then okay, it's workable, but as is, that's just silly. But yeah, I've learned that being able to adapt to my current lifestyle of I might have 15 minutes here or there to write. I mean, that's if that's all the time I can get, then that's what I got to use. So I find a way to write during 15 minutes here, 10 minutes there, and I try to have a goal set for me. Like, I want to finish this scene of a book to try and get progress, or let me work out what this character is going to do next, and how am I going to figure that out and stuff. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it's just a simple stream of consciousness. Like, I have no idea what I'm going to write about, and I'm writing this down as I have no idea what I'm going to write about. But hopefully an idea comes to me, and eventually something does, and it's always interesting to see what will come up at random as I'm doing these. Alright. Doesn't look like we're going to be getting anyone else joining us anytime soon for this episode, so I'm just gonna... Oh, hey, we do have someone else. Hey, Richie.
Hey. I was actually about to pass out. I didn't know if you got my message or not.
I did, and I wasn't sure if it was just a token, I'm going to keep a track on this guy, or if you'd actually be interested in joining me.
Well, I did. No, I mean, the other message that I sent, like, I was planning on staying up, but, like, my body's not letting me stay awake. So,
Ah, one of those. I didn't catch that one, sorry.
no, that's fine, that's fine. No, I would have liked to have actually been on time or whatever, but yeah, my body's kind of, like, shutting down on me. I think my
No
body's
worries.
I think it's trying to get even with me for me making it watch Man of Steel. So,
What time did you catch that?
just a little bit ago.
Good lord.